Good morning and happy Easter. It's Colin Campbell. Today I'm going to compare and contrast the Altra Escalante 1.5 versus the Altra Escalante Racer. I actually have the 2019 edition Racer, but I don't think they've really changed anything with that line over the last 2 years. So let me get into it. Before I get into the review of these shoes, just kind of like to update everyone. The reason why I haven't had any videos lately is it's been kind of a crazy few months. We had to euthanize two of my three cats that we owned, one of which was my first personal cat. She was diabetic, unregulated. I think I diagnosed her about 2 years ago, and her clinical signs just spiraled out of control. Around the time we euthanized her, we decided to get our other cats checked out again. And, I'm a veterinarian, but we had just noticed a little bit of weight loss in her cat. Nothing that we thought was too dramatic. Well, it turns out her cat also had a terminal issue, likely cancer, was causing some fluid in her chest, like pleural effusion, and we had to euthanize her. Also, I guess around, was it February? I promoted, so yeah, awesome, got a new job. But as soon as I got into that new position, this pandemic hit. I started the new position March 1st. March 2nd week, and I think I was in the new position 3 weeks total. By that third week, I knew things were changing. So currently I'm working in my old position, but also doing some of the work for my new position. Daycare is closed, so we've had to figure out childcare, be very creative with that. So just a lot's been going on. I still watch running shoe videos, but I haven't had the energy or the time to make any. So not to make excuses, but that's where I've been. So let me get into these two shoes a little bit more. So I'll start with the 1.5. I'll go ahead and spin the camera. It's our Bowflex here. So the 1.5 Escalante, compared to the original Escalante, this one has, they said they updated the heel a little bit to make it a little more stable. Honestly, I think it's exactly the same. I did notice that the heel cup around the ankle here sits a little bit lower, maybe a little less secure. The knit feels great. They were supposed to have stabilized, like added a little more security with this knit upper. I don't really feel it. The only other change I would say I noticed from the original Escalante to the 1.5 is that I feel like this midsole is a little bit firmer. Not enough to put me off of the shoe, but just walking around, the original Escalante was super plush, super soft. This one, I'm happy with it. I think it's a little bit more responsive, but that could be something that big fans of the originals might shy away from the 1.5. As far as the specs, again, this is a 24 millimeter zero drop or balanced cushioning system, which is now what Altra calls it. And then the foot-shaped toe box, and then you can see the foot-shaped outsole. The inner flex, these kind of grooves in between here. This is a pretty flexible shoe. Let me show you. So easily flexed. Although this one's only a 24 millimeter stack, this shoe feels just about as cushioned as my Torin Plush, which is a 28. So that's just big high praise for this shoe. So the Escalante 1.5, negatives of this one, I would say, again, the upper, if you're trying to go around corners and things, not very secure. You might feel like your foot's sliding around. If you're doing straight line running, hard to beat. I'd say once you get beyond 5 or 6 miles, beyond that 10K mark, I do notice that in the forefoot might be desiring a little bit more cushion. But again, I'm a bigger guy, so I don't think that would affect most people. But this does promote a forefoot strike, and just super light. So 7.9 ounces in a men's size 9. My 11.5, I would assume, weighs about 8.7, but I have not weighed it. So let me go over to the Racer now. All right. And one other thing I'll point out, beneath the insole, which these are really nice insoles, this top layer here, I'm not sure what the material is, but it's not a TPU based or anything like that. There's like a 1 or 2 millimeter cushion here above the midsole. So the midsole is that TPU based Ego midsole. So the reason I mention that is when I move over to the Racer. All right, so I'll start on this one with the midsole. Going underneath a little insert here. This is super firm, and you can actually see the Ego midsole through there. So big difference is they don't have that little 1 to 2 millimeter layer on the top. Even just feeling this midsole, it's much firmer in the Racer. Can't squish it. All components of it, not as flexible. So I can flex it, but that's a lot more effort. And just the step-in feel is, it feels pretty hard. I haven't taken this one beyond, I think, 3 or 4 miles at one time. It is a marathon shoe for some elite runners. The other huge upgrade that I do love is you can see this mesh, very different in the top. Super breathable versus this knit. Also, it's firm, it doesn't stretch out. So once you're in there, you're locked in. So turning, cornering, it's great in this shoe. So this one actually clocks in like 6.7 or 6.8 ounces for the men's size 9. So mine's probably only 7.5 ounces. So noticeably lighter, super light, still zero drop, balanced cushioning. But again, you're losing a couple millimeters in that midsole, and it's just the Ego is a lot firmer. The Ego is, again, a TPU based midsole. So similar to the Boost, I like it. It's lighter. The benefit on these Escalantes is they do not die. You're gonna see this outsole worn off before you're ever gonna notice this Ego losing its, bounce and responsiveness. Put your feet up. You little chicken. Put your feet up. All done? All right, y'all, so to sum it up, the 1.5 and the Racer, they pair really nicely together. The 1.5 is softer. I do think it's a little firmer than the original Escalante. It has a more of a sloppy upper feel. So if you're trying to do any kind of speed work, cornering, not the best choice. They're both super light, but if you want that edge on race day, the Racer is much lighter. The Racer, though, I would caution anyone who has any joint problems or anything like that. The midsole is much firmer, so you're going to notice it instantly. It does have enough cushion to me that you get the ground feel, but I feel like I could do up to a half marathon in it. Probably going to be hurting a little bit the next day. So you kind of have that balance of the firmer midsole is going to give you more of that energy back as you land through your stride, whereas a softer midsole or more maximal cushioning, well, it's going to feel better, but once you get 7, 8, 9 miles, you're going to use more energy, if that makes sense. You're going to use more energy losing through the midsole in that soft cushion forgiveness. So kind of some things to think about. I absolutely love the Racer, and to me, I've seen some people use it as their standalone shoe. So you could do anything in the Racer. You could do anything short of any kind of agility work in the standard Escalante. So 2 great shoes from Altra. And I'm kind of curious to see what they do with the next version. The 2.0 Escalante, from what I read, they tried to give more structure to that upper, but I don't think it played out as they expected. Evie. She does when I pulled her off the couch. Now she's kneading on me. You're so weird. It's a weird cat. Won't you be my neighbor? Again, happy Easter, everyone. And hopefully I can get some more content out soon. I do have the Saucony Triumph 17. Really interested in checking out, let's see, between the Asics Glide Ride, the Asics Nova Blast, and the Salomon Sonic Balance 3. Those are 3 other shoes I'm looking at. More reviews on those. And definitely the Triumph 17, because this shoe is awesome. I did a 10K yesterday, and I feel awesome today. If it wasn't storming, I'd be out running right now. All right, everyone take care, stay healthy, stay safe during this time. Peace. You dancing?